What's up, everyone? So I wanted to do a quick little video on how I did an electric steering column in my AE86. It's actually pretty simple. All you end up doing is taking the AE86 upper column, steering column, and mating it to the lower portion of a Toyota Yaris and or Prius electric column. I have it in the car right now, and that's because I've already done a bunch of testing with it just to make sure it would work and everything was gonna, you know, nothing was gonna interfere and so on and so forth. You can see down there that the factory shaft is still down. It works really great, but a couple problems that I've ran into is if you're into drifting, the electric steering, which they're notorious for this, they don't really have very good self-steer. I thought that running this in fail-safe mode was going to be enough and it would still have enough self-steer, but in a Corolla, if you have any resistance coming back around, it was very hard to keep this thing on the track, I guess is the easiest way to put it. But I will be pulling the column out and taking it back apart just to show you exactly how I had done it. You can kind of see when I get under here that there's the motor there. So all I did was couple this lower section, maybe you can see it right here with the welds. Get this flashlight over here. You can see right there, kind of. Maybe if the light, hold on a second here, sorry about that. You can see right there that is, I coupled the lower section to the upper section of the factory 86 one. This is the ECU for it. You literally just run it in safe mode and you run all of your wires up and around. I used a big thick gauge wire and then I just trigger it with the ignition switch. It's pretty simple, works really well, and it still retains factory position of the steering column. The only thing that is not the same as factory would be it's no longer tilt. It'll tilt a little. It still has a tilt function, but it doesn't really move a whole lot because I do have it hard mounted at the back up in there. I don't know if you can see that up in there. That way the motor has a solid surface to be pushing against. So anyways, yeah, that's what I did. Like I said, I'm gonna take this apart and then give you a quick little like rundown down on exactly how I mated the two together. And then I'm actually gonna be putting this up for sale, the steering column, because I'm just not too happy with it in the way that it acts while in drift. This is strictly a drift car. If you are to put this on a road race car or a street car, I mean, it is really, really great. Really great. I mean, you can turn it with one finger is the easiest way for me to put it. Now, mind you, I'm going to show you right now how exactly it works. These are 16 by 8s, and I have widened control arms. I have S13 stuff. It is a very heavy steer. Like, for example, I'm going to take, you might hear that god-awful buzz. So it just clicked on. Well, I'm going to go one more so it shuts up. But, so as of right now, it's on, and I can do it by hand without anything on there. See, all the way over to the, I could probably go to lock with one hand. Maybe not. But remind you, that's without the actual steering wheel. So the fact that you can turn it by hand, like if I turn it off, ignore the loud beep, you know, I can't even remotely begin to turn it. As opposed to with it on, you have to wait a second or two for it to click on. See, like that. I can turn it just fine. Works really well. Like, it's insanely, insanely smooth. I'll throw this on just to show you even more just how easy it is. See, and that's to lock. I'll go the other way. See? It's crazy. I still have a hard time understanding how easy it is. Heck yeah. I'll be tearing that apart so you can see it. Alright, it's a couple days later. I got the all the steering stuff taken out. My buddy Brett is here now. You guys remember Brett? Man, I just don't know how much I enjoy the wide lens of the GoPro. But it's not about me, right?
Right.
So yeah, I got the steering column out with Brett's help, of course. And I'm gonna kind of break it down what was done to make it all fit together. All right, so I have everything all sprawled out here on the ground. I can kind of go through and explain to you exactly what was done. Like I said, this is a power motor off of a 2009 Toyota Yaris. You can also use the same year Prius. Apparently the Prius motor gear is actually much larger diameter wise, and so it's a little better. This one though, as far as I know, is still going to be plenty powerful and still not have any issues breaking. I was drifting with it for at least 2 track days, and it didn't do bad at all. So when I say I coupled them together, what I did was, this is the A86 lower shaft. As you can see here, I just drilled a hole for the extension that I had from excessive manufacturing, so that's not really any hindrance. But this is the upper portion, factory A86, and then I had bought a piece of steel here, and I welded it to the lower section and to the upper section of the yoke here, and then this just slides onto that section. I can get it right there. This is another bracket that was made. That bracket there, you can see, has got a flat stock that I made fit. This is with the factory. Maybe I have another one over here I can show you guys. Yeah, this one right here. So this is a factory column, right? That is what I cut it up to make it fit. You can kind of see what I did there. And as you can see here, like, this is separated from it, and what I did was I did this to the lower section. So I'll show you right now what I mean. This section is Toyota Yaris, and then I use an adapter sleeve and then welded to the factory A86. The column comes up through, and this is all one section right here. There's a little deflection guide built in for the motor and the sensor on the harness, and that shaft is still down inside there. You can maybe kind of see it. And then this is that upper section, which I had coupled right here to the factory 86. So it still uses all your factory lock cylinder. Right now I don't have it in lock mode, but I can show you. Switch it and switch it out, and oh yeah, it's not quite in the right spot right now. Hold on. Oh yeah, the key's in there. Go. That'll do it. See? Still locks. Factory lock. Hold on a second. See? Yeah. And that's, you'll use your own lock cylinder with this shaft. These shafts are interchangeable. It stays with it. This is my lock cylinder, so I'm going to keep it. This is the ECU for it. The ECU is literally on this red wire right here. That red wire is just a strip on, puts it into failsafe mode, so it's constantly on. It always has the same amount of output I should say. And then that connector spot right there is for the actual motor. That one is for the torque sensor. And then black stripe is ground. White is straight to battery positive, fused preferably. Use somewhere around like a 40 to 50 amp fuse. Simple as that. Comes with a little mount. It all plugs in together. And like I said, this is everything that you'll get. The actual intermediate shaft that goes into your locking mechanism, the lower shaft, and the modified column. Alright, also before I forget, this lower section here, it literally just slides right in, and once it hits that other shaft, it just slides onto the shaft. So that way you can pull them apart without having to have it all separate. There is still a crush section built in on this shaft here, as well as this. I gave this about, from that point there, it's got about a good 4 or 5 inches of crush in case of an impact, as well as you're still going to have this down here from factory. So yeah, hit me up.